Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. Enjoy. Welcome back to the Getting High on Leadership series, everyone. My name is Rob Sanchez, and we're back again here with Paul Karasik. And today we're going to be talking about the first chapter of part 1. Part 1 is mindset, and the first chapter is called Where Are the Leaders? Paul, thanks for joining me, man. Where are the leaders today?
Well, I'm looking at one of them.
What a topic to start off with, right?
Yeah. Well, I think people like yourself sometimes don't even realize, the power that you wield in terms of so much of leadership, right? And that's kind of the point of the entire chapter, is that people have to first grasp the idea and the concept and identify as a leader. And that's, to me, where everything begins. And many people are in leadership positions and don't own it. They want to be a friend. They want to be, all kinds of great things, but they're not focused on how do I become a great leader?
Right.
Yeah.
So you could be filling many roles.
Yeah. And you do influence a lot of people, Rob. I mean, think about it, just by the choice of your speakers who have certain opinions and are leading people in certain directions to certain thoughts, right? And beliefs. That's leadership. So you're influencing every time you book a speaker that you think is good, you're making a statement and you're influencing other people. You bring that person to fore. You're affecting so many things, right?
Yeah,
and that's
it does
true
kind
for
of craft it.
Isn't it right? I mean, and you don't realize your power as a leader and your influence as a leader. And this is why it's chapter 1, is to understand you are
kind
affecting
of acknowledge
people.
it.
Yeah. Acknowledge it. And I go through the list in that little chapter. Business people are leaders, artists are leaders, healers are leaders, managers are leaders, sisters are leaders, brothers are leaders, fathers are leaders, mothers are leaders, and pointing out how they lead. And there's 2 ways to approach it, either unconsciously or consciously, right? And unconsciously, we don't get a lot done. But I think parents do. I think mothers and fathers know in their, intuitively, that they're influencing their kids.
Yeah, it's hard to keep that just completely in the unconscious.
It's hard to. Yeah. I know you don't have kids, I don't think, right?
Yes, I've got a little daughter. So
you have a daughter.
She'll be 2 on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and you become really conscious. I remember I went, oh my God, I don't want my kids to lie. I have to stop lying.
Yes, right.
I have to be lead with integrity. In fact, I think mothers and fathers are a great kind of model and reference point for leadership.
For that conscious style of leadership, really aware of the big picture kind of approach.
Yeah, and then they got older, and I remember pulling into a parking spot that was for the handicap. And I think I was stopping at the bank to put something into the machine or something like that. And my younger daughter, who's like the bulwark of integrity, she was about 7. She said, "Daddy, it's handicap." And I go, babe, I'm just running in. I'm going to be dropping this envelope into the slot and coming back. So, and she looked at me and she said, no, you can't. You can't park there. It's for handicapped people. That's it. And those little slips of integrity, when you're a parent, they'll get you every time, right?
Right. It's about having that, like seeing the job through all the way, to the end, and staying true to those kind of attributes and characteristics that you're trying to lead towards. Right. I have to embody that.
You have to embody it. And that's I think the great wake-up call as mothers and fathers for leaders. Then you get people, who are given the title of leader, but that's it. I mean, they really aren't really leading anybody, and nobody wants to follow them.
They take the title and kind of keep on keeping on, huh?
Yeah, the president of the company and this and that, and they're really not leaders at all because nobody's following them. So it's a title kind of a thing. Yeah, this chapter was really because I was at an event. This is about 2 years ago, and the person leading the event was a terrific person. I knew him really well, and then when he took on his role at this particular event, I saw how he didn't realize like how important it was to take that role seriously. For example, there was in this particular event, there was an exercise to do for raising consciousness, a breathing exercise, right?
Yeah.
And he said, let's do 35 breaths. And he never counted.
We're breathing the rest of the conference.
We're breathing the rest of the day here, And it was just those little slips that, he didn't realize when you say to a group of people, we're doing 20 breaths or we're doing a 3-minute thing, or that there's responsibility with that on your side of it.
Right. To bring his side to the table and manage that, at least the expectations, and kind of set those boundaries for the exercise and for
set the boundaries, but have integrity. About it, and say it's 35 breaths. It's not 36. It's not 28. And I have like chronic bronchitis. So after like 20, I'm like, are we at 30 yet? And our hands are up, we're breathing and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm having a tough time, because I need at least a little break or whatever, just because my lungs aren't that great. But I saw that he went way over 35. And I just thought it's those cracks when you don't take your role seriously. And maybe this is the most important message in this chapter, Rob, that it's integrity. It's all about integrity. The leader has to have integrity.
And be kind of monitoring that themselves, finding those cracks before they become divisive or catastrophic.
Yeah, because if it's in that, if you can't count 35 breaths in an exercise, what's it going to come to when we're counting money or dividing responsibilities, or you know what I mean? Like it's just a reflection, and it causes a lot of people lose their confidence in you. You say, oh, he says this, but he does that. If I say I'm going to call you at 7, this is a leadership thing. I call you at 7, and if I can't call you at 7, I have to say, hey, I can't call you at 7, but let's make it this. And that's integrity.
Some follow-up there.
Yeah, keeping your word. There's a book, I think you probably know the book by The 4 Questions.
Is it The 4 Agreements? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if I read it. I think I read it, but the concept, the idea of that your word, remember that was one of them, right? Yeah, that was one of them. You keep your word is indivisible. It's indivisible. It's never compromised. It's never corrupted. Like when I say to you something, it's never something else. It's always that. Whatever I
Right.
say.
Right. And meaning what you say.
Yeah, and to that point, um, we have to take a look and say, if you don't have integrity, then they lose confidence in you. They lose faith in you. You say your daughter or your son, don't park in handicapped spots, right?
And then
Don't, that's
you
not
cut
right
a
because
corner one
and they,
busy Saturday morning.
yeah, yeah, exactly, dropping off a letter or something in the slot,
Yeah.
and that's just the way. I think that's the most critical element. So when a father or a mother or a business leader or a spiritual leader shows a crack of integrity and keeping their word, then the people lose confidence. And likewise, when a leader says, a mom or dad, a brother, sister, you and me, we're going to leave at 4 sharp, and they keep their word every time, it builds such confidence. Like, oh, Rob is never late. He said 4 o'clock, and we're going to crank at 4 o'clock. And, and
Right.
now everybody, that integrity, now that small integrity is now led into the things that we really need to check ourselves on the
Yeah, and
other
kind of
things.
without managing that on the micro scale, on the macro scale, it gets hard to expect to ever be able to manage it.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
have to. It's your image with your people,
Right.
particularly. Like how do they? Every boss, every leader wants people to do what they say. That's like,
Most of
there's
the
no
time.
leader. Yeah, there's no leader that's going to say, I don't want them to do what I say. But if you want them to do what you say, then you have to do what you say, and you
Right.
have to model that. And that's why I say, as a parent, I remember that day I went, oh my God, I can't eat bad food anymore because I'm going to tell them don't eat all that sugar. I
Yes.
can't lie, and especially my older one, my other one a little bit, but she was stuck on this, if you say that, you do that, and that was like a thing for her. And that's, I think, if people can take away from this chapter a question, which is, do I really own my leadership role, whether it's in the family or in this relationship or in business? Really do a self-evaluation. Do I know, have I really looked at how many people I influence every day?
Right. Actually turned and look at all the roles you hold in different arenas of life and see where that, involves leadership and kind of how you're embracing it, or whether or not you've acknowledged that role.
That you're a leader. Yeah, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
leadership is not designated. Like I said, a father is not that you're a leader. No, you're a father.
Right.
You're running a little group, maybe with the church or with whatever, you don't, I'm just doing a committee. No, you're a leader. you know um, you're running a podcast like Apartment 113. You're a leader. I mean, that's it. You're influencing the way people are thinking on that particular issue, and it's a big responsibility. We do an event, and it's not just the speakers, but it's even the sponsors that when we do our events, and
Yes. To make
that's
sure
saying to people,
everybody involved in that, every hat in the ring is in the right line, is brand, I guess, on brand, or it aligns with the leadership principles or the integrity of the organization.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. The vetted. Because they're going to say, oh, I went to that event at Awakening or whatever, and a guy was saying this, and it didn't sound really safe, or whatever, whatever the suggestion was. Yeah, then they're going
Right.
to say, well, that whole organization, that whole thing is corrupt, in some way.
Yes. Yeah. Being able to maintain that integrity and maintain that the belief, the adherence, to your leadership that you would want from anyone that you're leading, I think is definitely key there. And in writing as well, there's comments and thoughts around how the author needs to maintain their knowledge and integrity throughout in the world that they present to their reader. And in some way, it's similar to this kind of leadership analog we're talking about, where you are responsible for maintaining that image. And if you fall, if on paragraph 3 you have a little bit of a foreshadowing mistake or a typo that reveals something else, it's on you. And that'll crack the reader's belief in the book and in the world there.
Oh yeah. But I mean, think about it. If you brought on guests that were flaky to apartment 113 in some way, and you did it consistently, people would see you as flaky.
Yeah, those little actions really build up.
Yeah, they would say, "Oh, he books these like wackos," like I don't know what they're talking about. Like
we keep them few and far between.
The wackos, yeah. Well, you got to throw one in here or there.
Right. Keep everyone on their toes. Make sure it's interesting. But no, it's definitely a good connection there to the brand building and just being able to turn inward and recognize your own roles as a leader in your organizations, in your family, in your education, in any committees or programs you're participating in, and also to give those folks who are leaders in those groups the slack that they need, and the respect that they need to try and continue leading. I think those are great takeaways for this chapter.
And also, it's not about a title. It's not being called, well, you're the leader. Like I said, if you're running a podcast, you're a tremendous leader. If you're doing events, if you've got a team that reports to you, I mean, moms, brothers and sisters, I don't know if you had brothers and sisters, how you looked to I had an older brother, how I looked to him. He led me. I was always seeing, what did Alan do? I was always, and I think when he got older, he knew that. But when he was younger, he didn't know. He had no idea.
Right.
Right. But that type of thing. Yeah, I think that's the message, Rob. And if we can all, I think it's universal, and that's why I use so many examples in this chapter, that everybody's a leader. So when you say, where's the leaders, it's just turn to your right, turn to your left. I mean,
within you and all around you.
Yeah, it's within you. You are a leader in some way. Somebody's looking to you, and for advice, direction, question, whatever it is. So, yeah, good stuff.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_The Conversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. To get the most out of this series, find the ebook link below and read along with us. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113, which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.